Hello and welcome here to Talk FCB, and welcome here to the player ratings video for Juventus against Barcelona, where I'll be giving each player a rating out of 10 for the performance tonight in the 0-0 draw in Turin, which did seal our status as Group D winners in the Champions League. So we are going to kick right off, as usual, with Marc-Andre ter Stegen, who I'm going to go tonight with a rating of 9 out of 10. I thought in everything he did, he was faultless, to be honest. It should be a 10, of course, but I don't usually give them out that easily. But ter Stegen tonight was brilliant every time he was forced into action. I said in my match review, every single time from the beginning until the very end, he had to be alert. From the start, he was forced into action, he made a good save down to his left, and right at the end, at the very killer moment, Dybala with a stunning strike, and only a fantastic save would have kept that out. Ter Stegen was wise to it, he anticipated it, and he was able to tip it round the post, and I thought every time he was called upon, he was very assured, and he was exactly as he has been all season long. So good from him. Another great display. Semedo up next, and I thought tonight he looked much more like himself. He was up and down, he was very energetic, he marshalled Douglas Costa really well. I think 8 out of 10 tonight is deserved for him. I thought he was really good when he was on the ball. A few times he was a little bit lucky, he took maybe a little bit too long to make up his mind in the pass. He was fouled quite a few times as well in the offensive areas. He had a good time, you know, going at Alexander, trying to get beyond him and cause a problem going forward, and I think he was involved as much as he could have been. You know, he got himself on the ball, he made overlapping runs, he was involved when we were going forward, and he gave us a good outlet on that right. That's exactly what you ask of him, and I thought tonight he was much more like himself. 8 out of 10 for him. On the other side, Lucas Digne I thought was slightly better than Semedo, but a very good performance from him as well. 8.5 out of 10 I'm going to go with Digne. In the match review as well, I spoke about that chance that he had when he was put clear by Messi. He chose to go with the way of Suarez. He possibly could have gone on his own and got a goal out of it, but I thought other than that he was outstanding. He kept Cuadrado out of the game. He was very assured every single time Juventus tried to switch the play. He was wise to it, he anticipated it, he was good in the air when he needed to be, he was very strong. And you've got to remember as well, Cuadrado has got a lot of pace on that right hand side. He dealt with it really well, and I thought he had a really good performance tonight. Considering he doesn't play every week, he was thrown in at the deep end tonight in place of Jordi Alba, and he really did step up. And now on to the two centre backs, Gerard Piqué and Samuel Umtiti, and I'm going with the same rating for both of them tonight, like I usually do really. I thought tonight as a pair they performed really well. Like I said in the review as well, they kept Higuain quiet a lot of the time. You know, he didn't really be able to get on the ball, he didn't really get a shot away at all, and that was thanks to Gerard Piqué and Umtiti. I thought they played the ball out well from the back as well, because we had a lot of the ball tonight. We were starting the moves with ter Stegen, it was being brought through defence by Piqué and Umtiti, and I thought they were both really strong. There was a few moments in that second half where Juventus at times trying to hit us on the break, but they were wise to it. Umtiti would step out when he could, Piqué was very good in the air as well when he needed to be, and I thought both of them tonight as a pair, because it hasn't always been like that this season. At times there's been times where Piqué hasn't been as good, but Umtiti's been fantastic. I thought tonight they were both very good. 8 out of 10 all round for both of them. And now on to my man of the match in midfield. I spoke about it as well in the match review. Sergio Busquets was out of this world tonight. He really was. If you didn't watch the performance, please go back and watch Busquets in possession of the ball, because it really is a joy to watch. Every single time he got on the ball, he took his time, he picked the pass, and every single time it was the right option. He showed some absolutely phenomenal touches in that midfield. He was running strings around Khedira, he was running strings about Pjanic, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant to watch him. Every single time that he got the ball, he did everything in his own time. He would never panic. It doesn't matter how close the defenders, how close the attackers get to him, anybody around him, it doesn't matter. If you close him down, you will get punished, because he will find a way of getting away from you, and it was so much on show tonight from Busquets. It really was sensational. I am going to go with a 9.5 out of 10 for him, because he was simply out of this world in midfield, controlling things from deep, receiving the ball, showing that calmness on the ball, and he really was a breath of fresh air in that midfield, and it really seemed to pass on to Iniesta, who for me was the second man of the match. Iniesta I'm going to go tonight slightly less than Busquets, but nonetheless brilliant. 9 out of 10 for Iniesta, because likewise when he got the ball, he showed that burst of acceleration quite a few times. He left Khedira in his wake. You know, you think of him, you know, he's on his 30s, but it doesn't matter. He's able to get away from players. He's still got that killer instinct. He's still got that burst of acceleration, and you can see it. He sees the pictures before we even know what's going on. Once he gets that ball, he knows exactly what he's going to do. He can glide past players, he can get beyond them, and he was really a creative spark in that midfield tonight, and he was only the real player in that midfield who was trying to create something. He was the only player in the team, really, who was getting things moving, and that's why we really suffered. Iniesta was doing all the work, and he didn't really have a lot of support. That brings me on to Rakitic, who, even as good as these two were, I think Rakitic tonight was below par. I'm going to go with a 6 out of 10 for Rakitic at times. He was playing the safe option at times. The ball got away from him. His first touch wasn't great at times as well, and moving forward, he didn't really create a lot. He was scared to go forward at times. He didn't really try to create many forward passes, and for me, that's why his performance dips below his usual standards, because Rakitic can play those passes. Rakitic has got a great passing range, but he needs to have the audacity to do it, and he needs to have the confidence to do it, and at times, unfortunately, in his game, that is lacking. Moving on now then to Paulinho in midfield, and I'm going to go with 6.5 out of 10 tonight for him. I don't think he was as bad as Rakitic, and I certainly don't think he was as bad as Suarez tonight, but I think Paulinho started the game well in that more advanced position, and that's where you want to see him. You want to see Paulinho as close to the box as possible, and certainly in that opening half, he had good chances at goal, he had good attempts on goal, he was picking the ball up outside the box, and he was getting a bit of space, and he was having a go, and that's what you want to see him doing, particularly when Messi wasn't there. We needed somebody to take on those kind of shots, and he was going for it. But in that second half, when Messi came on, you saw Paulinho drop a bit deeper, and then that's when maybe he's not as comfortable. His first touch at times, just like Suarez in possession, it did let him down, the ball gets away from him, the chance is gone. So I think in those kind of areas, when he is deeper in the pitch, he just needs to improve on his game a little bit. He needs to fit into that midfield, just like Rakitic needs to improve as well. But I think Paulinho in that first half showed some good flashes when he's more advanced, but when he's in that midfield, when he's a bit deeper, when he's got that defensive responsibility, he does need to do a bit more for me. So 6.5 out of 10 tonight for Paulinho. Moving on then to Luis Suarez, who I just touched on there. I'm going to go with 6 out of 10 tonight for Luis Suarez. I said it in my match review, really. I did feel like he took a bit of a step back tonight. He was brilliant against Leganes in his sort of box play. He got his 2 goals. It wasn't all-out Suarez. It wasn't the all-round Suarez that we know, but it was certainly a sign that maybe he was getting back on the right track. But tonight I didn't really see that from him. He didn't really have, of course, the support of Messi. Anybody is going to miss that. But I thought, like Paulinho, his first touch at times really wasn't good. His basic passing let him down a bit as well. And I think the day, today we needed somebody to really take the ball on, create a chance, do something special. He just didn't quite rise to that, and that was disappointing. I really, like I said in my preview, I wanted him to score tonight. I wanted him to continue that confidence into a game like this. But unfortunately tonight for Suarez, it just didn't happen. And hopefully he can pick that up at the Mestalla against Valencia, where he has had success in the past. I would love to see him score in that game. But tonight for Suarez, 6 out of 10, unfortunately. And finally, Deulofeu, the last man that I'm going to talk about in the starting lineup. Then we're going to move on to Lionel Messi, of course, who came off the bench. But Deulofeu tonight, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. I don't think he was as bad that he deserved to be taken off. I think he should have been given a bit more time on the pitch. But the time that he was on the pitch, like I said in my review, really, he did get to the byline. He did take on Alexandro. He did show a few flashes of brilliance. He took on Alexandro at one point, and it was really a fantastic piece of play. He was away in a lightning flash, and he was really not being caught. But when he gets in those areas, just like I said in my review, you need to have more runners in the box. He needs to have more options. Suarez needs to be busting a gut to get across his man, to get on the end of things. Deulofeu tonight needed that, and I think at times, even though his final ball can let him down, it's not all his own fault. At times in the box, he doesn't have enough players in there, he doesn't have enough options, and eventually that final ball will let him down because the options simply aren't there. But I think tonight he did enough. I think he did a lot of running, he worked very hard, he tracked back, he helped out Semedo, so I think overall 7 out of 10 is probably decent enough for him tonight. Just below that maybe is fair, but I think tonight overall pretty decent for Deulofeu. And finally, on to Lionel Messi, who did get off the bench in the second half, and as soon as he got off the bench, the game changed. It really did change. We suddenly become more effective, we suddenly become more believing, and I think that's the real key with Messi. It's not always about what he can give on the pitch, but it's always about what he brings to the occasion. When he came on, others sort of lit up. They thought, you know what, he's here now, we can relax a little bit, we can enjoy ourselves, Messi can help us out, and that's exactly what he did. It didn't really take him long to settle into the game. He was weaving his way past Juventus' midfield, he was creating space for himself, and like I say with Digne, that pass over the top of the defence was absolutely magisterial. Over the top of the defence, they were getting nowhere near it, nobody else could even see the pass, let alone execute it. Messi did that, and it could have easily resulted in a goal at the end of the night. He also had a free kick from quite a long way out. He very nearly tested Buffon. It was just over the bar, flashing over the bar, but a really good effort from distance. The same also Suarez had a free kick, which went quite close as well. But ultimately, Messi didn't really have enough time on the pitch tonight to make his usual impact. He would have certainly been looking to a goal to extend his fantastic Champions League record, but unfortunately tonight, he was given a rest. He'd probably be happy with that, but of course, Messi wants to play every single game. And like I said in my match review as well, I'm really interested tonight to see how Messi now plays in that game at the Mestalla. Will he look a bit more fresh? Will he be hungry to go out there and show them that he wants to play every game? He wants to be involved involved, and when he's not involved, we certainly suffer. Tonight, though, he came on, he was a breath of fresh air, and he very, very nearly created the winning goal. I'm not going to give a mark to Jordi Alba. I don't really understand the substitution, if I'm honest with you. I think Ernesto Valverde put him on in the same place as sort of Digne. I think there were two left-backs on the pitch at the same time. Probably Valverde wanted to bring him on and play him a bit more advanced. Jordi Alba, of course, started his career as a winger. But you just got to say in that situation, why is he not bringing Denis Suarez off the bench? I know Ernesto Valverde was probably happy to settle for the draw, but at the same time, surely Denis Suarez in that second half could have given us something. He could have given us a bit of flair, a bit of pace, something a bit different in that midfield. Denis Suarez, of course, as well, is able to play wide, so I think he really could have been given some minutes, but seemingly so, Valverde just doesn't want to give it to him. He doesn't seem to favour Denis Suarez, and unfortunately, he could be moving closer and closer to that January exit. But leave your thoughts down below, guys. I'm sure you guys have some different opinions on the match ratings. Be sure to let me know why exactly they are. As always, guys, I'll look forward to those. I'll be back, of course, with more videos in the days to come, but ultimately tonight, we've secured our status as group winners. It was a decent game in Turin, but nothing special overall. I will see you soon, but until then, as always, Vasca el Barça. Barça, Barça, Barça.